Hello, denizens of the internet, and welcome back to the Dire Penguin Show. Today, we're exploring Thea, the Awakening. Or, if you have a twisted mind like I do, you read this as the Awakening. And it's like, no, duh, the A is Awakening, it's right there. But, if you don't have a twisted mind like me, don't let that stop you from enjoying this game. This is a really neat game, and I have been very pleasantly surprised, and I really think this game needs more attention than it's gotten. This game is very positively reviewed on Steam, and for good reason. This is a very interesting blend of multiple genres together. And we hear that a lot, but they really made it work in this game. This is not just a casual blending, this really works, and it works very well. This is a turn-based strategic game that is kind of this mix of survival and 4X and RPG all together, and it uses this very novel card-based combat system that uses different skills depending on what type of challenge you're encountering, whether you're encountering a normal combat challenge, or whether you're trying to sneak, or maybe do a persuade, or maybe you're trying to cure a disease. All of these things are in there, and different people in your civilization and in your party are going to be important, and you really have to think your way through the combat as well. It's very interesting. Very excited to show this off to you today. So the story in this game is the world fell into darkness because humans did not keep the cosmic tree alive. In fact, the cosmic tree burned. And when it did, the sun stopped rising, darkness fell over the land for 100 years, and during that time all sorts of fell creatures came out, demons and just creatures of shadow, the undead rise up, and these demons, some of them are friendly, some of them aren't, some of them will help you, some of them will try to trick you, some of them are just out and out evil, and it's this horrible time. Humanity barely clings on, you know, the sun doesn't rise for 100 years, and then for some reason it does. And nobody knows why it's come back, but everybody is interested in making sure that it keeps coming back. Darkness definitely still is around at night. Things are very dangerous, but at least the sun is up some of the time, and so you're starting to rebuild, and you can farm a little bit, and you're just starting to get those inroads back towards civilization. In this game, you take control of a settlement and all the people associated with that settlement, and you're going to be creating expeditions that are going out and exploring the world and trying to figure out why the sun has come back up, what has happened to the cosmic tree, and trying to clear out all the evil that surrounds your town. At the same time, you're going to be controlling the town, and you're going to be trying to help those people to survive. You're going to be building farms, you're going to be crafting items, you're going to be trying to go and harvest resources, so that you can build better things and better gear, and at the same time, every person counts in this game, very much. You have very limited people, you can't just go out and get more people. Not that easily. There is a huge variety of things you can craft in your village. According to the Steam page, there's like over 4,000 items you can craft. It's insane. How many that there are. And you're not going to get every one of them every time. You're going to develop your town differently. Your party's going to be different because it's not just who you want. It's who grows up in your town and what they are. And they're going to be different. The reason why we're doing it right now on the channel is very recently the game was updated with a free DLC. You'll notice that's this Rise of the Giants here in the background. And that did a couple things for the game that are significant and significantly enhance what you can get in the base game. First of all, it added the event editor, so you can make your own events now. Very cool. Looking forward to some of the community-created events. Next up, it added full voiceover work for all of the events in the game. That is huge. The voice actors do a good job, and it adds so much to the atmosphere of this game, because this game does exude atmosphere, and that is a part of the game. That is what sells these survival mechanics. In addition, there's a lot more events and all that got added in, obviously, to do with the Giants. I personally haven't experienced that content, so I can't really speak to that. But it's there, and that DLC is free. You aren't going to be paying any more for this game. Now, I will say, if you own this game on Steam, right now they're having problems with save games disappearing. I can vouch for this. It's happened to me twice now. They have updated a patch that allows it to use the Steam Cloud to save your game, so that if it gets deleted, Steam will just re-download it. To activate that, though, you need to go down here, and in your profile, you need to set it to use game folder saves. You don't want to use the system folder, otherwise, I can vouch for it, the save games disappear. Game folder will use the Steam Cloud. If you're not on Steam, you may want to hold off on this game for a couple weeks until they get that fixed. They are aware of the issue, they're very concerned about it, they're going to fix it, but as of my knowledge, they haven't fixed it yet. Let's go ahead and start up a new game. So each time that you play through the game, you have to choose a patron god. And it starts out with only 2 of the gods available to you from the beginning. Now, if you don't like the 2 that it gives you, a little secret, you can delete your profile and start a new one. At the beginning of the game, it doesn't matter. But this is kind of this meta-leveling mechanic where each time you play the game, you're going to pick a patron god, and then you're going to play. And you're going to get experience with that god. And as that god gains experience, you're going to start getting more blessings. And as you level these gods up, you'll unlock other gods. So, for instance, most of these gods here, or at least the first 6, you have to reach level 3 on another god, and then one of them will unlock. So as you keep playing the game, not only are you going to be progressing through what this god offers you, but you're also going to be unlocking additional gods. The last 2 here have different conditions. Finish the Cosmic Tree Quest, which finishes the game. Little spoiler there, but I don't think that reveals too much based on that intro. And Perun, which is unlock all the gods, and then you get access to him. Now, I don't know what all they offer, but we have available to us Svarog and Mokosh. The mythology in this game is, I feel like it's Eastern European or maybe Western Russia, kind of that Slavic style of mythology, if you've ever encountered domovoys or rusalkas. That kind of mythology is very much prevalent in this game. In fact, I believe I've actually encountered somebody who was a rusalka in the game. This is probably the one I will probably pick because I am inefficient, and so I think the +1 bonus to gathering I think is good. Because I'm not very good at the game, and so the faster gathering will probably help me. I don't know whether, as we play the game, whether we will unlock this tier 2 blessing, I guess, or whether that will be the next time. Like, if we get enough experience, the next time we play the game, is that when we would actually get the level 2 bonus? Or do we, through the gameplay, just all of a sudden get the extra bonus? I don't know. I have to consider just this tier 1 skill here. My villagers are faster at gathering, or they gain experience faster. Well, for me and my inefficiency and not really knowing what I need to do, the faster gathering is actually pretty useful because I can use that to kind of construct more items, and I might not need the experience quite as much. I don't know. I'm not very experienced with this game. That save game bug has caught me twice before I knew about the solution to that. And so this will actually be my third, actually no, it's my 4th time starting this game, and I haven't made it through. I haven't even lost. The save game has disappeared. But I know that that is not the case because the last time I played, unfortunately the audio recording did not record on multiple tracks like it's supposed to. I use OBS, and OBS decided when you change the audio device to reset the mixing settings, which meant my voice was completely drowned out by the music. Oops. Well, I've gotten that fixed, and now this is now my 4th time starting it. So, down here you can change what your village focus is. I'm not entirely sure what this does, because when a child grows up in this game, you get to pick whether they're a warrior, a gatherer, or a craftsman. So I'm not sure what the village focus is. Again, it's not the people that are coming out of your town, because you get to pick those. So maybe that's the people that join you because they found your town from the countryside, if you will. We can also change the difficulty. We're going to play on normal. You can customize the difficulty, and you can see there's a whole lot of options here that you can tweak. Everything from how easy it is to craft items to how many reshuffles you get, or maybe they're expensive and you have to pay something, maybe food or something, to get a reshuffle in combat. And of course that changes your final score multiplier, which may affect how much experience you earn with the god. I don't know. But we're just going to stick with normal here. You have an easy, normal, difficult, godlike. We're going to stick on normal. Let's go ahead and start with Mokosh.
And so it was said that if the pillars of the world shall fall, darkness will descend upon all that lives. From the Book of the Dark. Man did not heed this warning. The sacred cosmic tree burned to cinder. And so the darkness came, claiming all that was bright and living in Thea, when all hope was lost. After a century without light, the sun rose once more. Thea awakened from her dark slumber, and you along with her. But Thea is not the world that once was. The age of darkness weakens, but it is far from over. Life took its shy roots, yet death will not release its grip easily. While the sun keeps some of the evil in check during the fleeting days, at night, the creatures of darkness roam free and angry, unwilling to give up their dominion over the land. It is up to you to find a way to rebuild Thea, banish the darkness, and strengthen mankind.
Thea is awakened. Welcome. No time to waste. You are a deity of the High Pantheon, and you must help your worshippers survive the darkness. So what now, you ask? You are divine, yes, but you have little power, and so you will know the world through your people's eyes. This means sometimes you will encounter your own divine messengers, and maybe even face your own avatars. Weird, I know. Your first mission is to survive. Every critter is trying to make sure you stay down. So get food and craft better equipment to protect yourselves. You will guide your people to victory, either by sheer survival and progress, or by solving the cosmic tree's mystery.
So upon starting the game, this is Theodore. He's obviously some sort of demon. I'm guessing he's more like a Donovoy. He obviously is very well spoken, and he seems to have your best interest at heart, though I haven't gotten far enough to say for sure that's true. But he's definitely the tutorial in the game. Now it's worth noting, at any time you can click down here and get contextual help about what you're currently doing, although you can certainly see all the help topics if you want to. In addition to this, there are video tutorials, so there's 3 different ways you can learn the game, either through the videos, through reading the help, or through going through the tutorial. Now, we are actually going to leave the tutorial on, even though I have gone through most of it. I haven't actually succeeded in going through all of the events, and I don't know if I turn this off, whether that will turn those events off. And having those events on will actually give me some content fairly early on to show you some of the different aspects of this game and how it works. So I'm actually going to do that.
I am but a messenger. Theodore, you can call me. But let us focus on you. Thea is a broken land. The underworld is shut, and the undead roam the earth. And creatures of darkness that ruled for a century want you dead.
Okay, so I need to improve our village and people, so how do I get started?
First, go and explore your village. Check the inventory to see your stocks, and set people to gather food and fuel, like wood. Without food, people will starve, and without fuel, they will not craft or even heal, so these are really important.
Okay, gather food and fuel at the village. Anything else?
Yes. Once you've visited your village, check out the people standing outside, the exploring party. Select your party and send them to me. I will wait for your people outside the village. I have marked your people's map with a big blue question mark, so they will see where I am. Oh, and if you ever forget what your current task is, just check out your logbook.
Alright, so check out my village and people first, then send them your way. Let's begin. Okay, so now we can actually properly see what's up. I'm just going to keep getting rid of these messages for the most part. We'll go through his events, but I'm going to tell you everything that you would learn here from him in his little help messages. Okay, so here is the world, and we can zoom out here and see more. Although we are on a small map, so I don't know how far out it goes. I really don't. In the top left, you have this tracker. And what this is over the course of time, the sun is going to rise and set, and that's going to change everything in this game. Sometimes you might get bonuses in day or bonuses at night. Your vision is going to entirely change. At nighttime, at the deep of night, you can barely see beyond your party. If you have anyone out in the wilderness, monsters are going to rise up at night. Evil is going to spread across the land. But at daytime, it's relatively safe, and it's not too harsh from what I've encountered so far, but it is significant, and you do need to be aware of what time of day it is. Although I have to admit, to me it seems like as far as your characters can walk, this is not so much a day as in 24 hours. It's more like the sun rises and sets over the course of about a week. Multiple turns are going to be going by through one day cycle. Over here you have the properties of whatever you have selected. So if we have the town selected right now, Ostoya, we have 4 people in the town, we have 15 days worth of food, and 10 days worth of wood. Here we have our current adventuring party, the expedition, and you can see that they have 10 days worth of food, 5 days of fuel, 6 people, and this is their carrying capacity down here, I believe. We're going to be unlocking research over time, which is we're going to use to unlock more stuff for our town. Because the world has been dark for so long that so many things have been forgotten. You know, we're a town of 10 people all told. There's so much that has been lost, although I think there are a few children as well. 10 adults. So much has been lost. We don't know how to do things. Like, we need to make a well? Okay, we don't remember how to do that. Oh, how do you make a sword? We don't know. You have to unlock these things over time, and we can see that down here. There are 3 tabs here, one for gathering, one for crafting, and one for construction. The gathering tab is all the stuff you're going to be encountering in the world that you need to gather to be able to do crafting and that sort of thing. And you start out with a few of them unlocked here. We start out with leather, we start out with sandstone, bone, straw, string, wood, and iron unlocked. That's it. So if you want to be able to get vines, be prepared to spend research points on it. If you want to be able to acquire, what's this? Fur leather. We'll have to spend points on that. So anything with a green circle here, we have that many points we can unlock. So if I wanted to, I could actually go in here and I could get cane, for instance. Now, before I would want to do that, I would want to click down here and see what resources we have nearby. Now, this is a little bit unfortunate because I want string for one of the buildings I can get, and in this game I don't have it. The last game, it was right outside my town, but unfortunately, that recording did not take. And this game is somewhat roguelike in the sense that if you go to the main menu, you can save, but that's the only save you have. You can't jump back lots of turns and that sort of thing. So I can click this, but it just says game saved. That protects you from crashes and that sort of thing, but it's not going to allow you to really save scum all that much. Which is a good thing, honestly speaking. So we can also go to the crafting tab, and we have all sorts of crafting options we can also unlock. We're going to need a lot of points in this to unlock some of the more advanced stuff. The only thing from the crafting tab we have unlocked is cooked meals. All the swords and bows and armor and all that is still currently locked. Construction is buildings that you can build for your town. You start out with the pasture unlocked, which is going to help you get food in your village. I have also unlocked the cabbage patch, which is hilariously a way to get children in this game. I have to imagine that is a riff off the Cabbage Patch Kids. I can't imagine any other reason, but yeah, you can get babies from cabbage patches. My favorite that I really want to get, and I haven't managed to get in any of the games I've been playing, is the well. And it doesn't cost a whole lot. I think if we click on it, yeah, you can see here the crafting recipe. And the way this works is you can spend different things to get it, as long as you have one in each tier. But the better quality items you put in, the better quality of the building you get out. So, you know, we might put in basic wood, basic string, and maybe some more basic wood in the beginning of the game, but later on in the game, we may want to go back and use some sort of stone, some string, and some ingots, and we might get a better building. And we might use better ingots and get an even better building or something like that. But because I haven't found a source of string yet, and you don't start with enough string to build this, I don't want to go ahead and spend my point on that. I might spend it on the Cabbage Patch. I don't know. I can hold on to it for now. I don't have to go spend it, but I need to think about that and think about how I want to do that. The other buttons here are for the game log, which is going to have all the text that you have recently encountered, and you can review any event that has happened in there. You also have buttons to go to your settlement, which we'll explore in a few moments. Go to your adventuring parties, which you can have multiple of, and again, show resources on the map. So we have mushrooms nearby, as well as Darkwood. Okay, Darkwood's very interesting. That's one we currently do not have the skill to get. Now what's this? Wicker. Okay, that's different. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at our party and our town. So your party in traditional turn-based 4X, here we can move. We can move up to 5 tiles, movement limits permitting. Obviously we can't walk that fast over mountains and that sort of thing, but let's go ahead and take a look at our characters real quick, because this is different every time you play. I have no idea what these characters are. I have one medic with me, who's going to help my characters to not die from their wounds, because wounds in this game accumulate, and if you don't heal them off fast enough, each turn there's a chance your character might die. So you want to get rid of those. He's pretty weak on his own. He only has 6 hit points, and he's got a lot of will. He's got decent intelligence and speech. Definitely going to be weak in a combat situation. We have Dislav, who is pretty heavily armored. He does piercing damage. We'll talk about that when we get into some combat. We have another piercing damage guy. He is 11 health. Ooh, he also has 1 attractiveness. This guy doesn't have any. Sorry for you, Buster. Strong, not very good on very much else. Nimela is lower damage, but she's got some good shielding. That's going to come in very handy. I can't help but call her Voila, even though it doesn't have the accent. She does a lot of damage, and that's pretty much it. Sirje is... Ooh, I haven't seen some of these before. Sixth Sense. What is that? Ooh, interesting. Yeah, these characters are different every time. I've never seen this before. I've never seen Faint. Huh. Okay, cool. Okay, well, we're going to see different characters, and over the course of the game, hopefully we're going to get more characters, and explore this a little bit more. Now, we do have some starting equipment we can equip. Can we put that on her? No, she'll be carrying too much at that point. We could put it on her, though. Also put it on him. Let's see, what does it do? Armor 13. Who has lower armor? He does. Go ahead and put that armor on him. We have a round shield. You can see what's equipped to people because it'll have their name below the item. So we have a buckler, which is 3 armor, 6 shielding, 2 armor, 6 shielding. So this is actually better, and it can't be used with a 2-handed weapon. So we currently can't equip that to anybody except for Bartosz here. Alright. Okay, so that's our current expedition, and then we can go over here to the inventory tab, and we can see all the stuff that they are carrying. You do obviously have a carry limit that you will be able to have, and I do believe the items that you have equipped count toward that. We currently don't have very much. We have a little bit of wood, we have a little bit of food, and we have some iron and vines. Not a lot. So let's go over here to the town, and then we'll go into the town, and we can just quickly hop over here, and we can exchange items. I don't see any reason for our expedition to be carrying some iron. I feel like that's going to be much better used in the town. Oh, yep, there we go. As well as the vines. Really don't see much reason for that. Yeah, we only start with 10 string. So here's our town. We have, in the town, we have Marcelka, who is our fighter for the town. We have 2 gatherers, and then we have I'm not sure what his skill is, but he's good at crafting. He has level 6 craft. So we'll definitely be using him for that. We also have a few other items here that are in the town, as well as 4 kids, but they're not used for much except for growing up. Okay, so what we can do here in the town, yes I know, is we can assign these people to various tasks. Now, we're only going to be assigning the 4 people that are in the town. We could transfer some people, but there's no real reason to do that. So let's go ahead and assign our gatherers to the goods here. And what this means is each turn we will make 50 progress. Once we get to 54 progress, we will get 14 of the good. So we really want to get this up to 54 at best. So for the moment, I could assign these 2 workers, and now I will get that every turn. Probably worthwhile to do in the beginning of the game, because there's not very much that I want to craft. I could go over here to crafting, and I can craft clothes, I can craft cooked meals, I can craft tools, or gathering tools, and these are all the things that I know how to do. You start the game knowing how to do these. It might be worthwhile to get some gathering tools so that we don't need all 3 people to get that in one turn, but I don't have enough resources right now. Looks like I'm missing whatever this is. Doesn't want to tell me. That looks like grain, honestly. But it's probably something like wicker. Maybe? If so, we have it right outside. Construction tab is where you can build buildings. Right now we only have the pasture available to us, and once again, I don't have enough resources for this either. We'll need to get more wood before I can build this, as well as more food. Other things that happen in the town, if we go up here to manage supplies, you'll notice that you get bonuses for having more food variety. Right now we only have 1. We have 60 meat on hand, so we don't get a bonus. But once we start getting some vegetables, maybe some fish, you start moving up these bonuses. And I think this carries through to your expeditions as well. So it might be worth going all the way down here to get the faster healing or something. But it's going to require a lot of work to progress through this tree. Not a lot we can do at the moment in our town, just we're going to be focusing on gathering resources. The other thing I do want to do, though, is I want to hand over some wood to our expedition. Not all of it, but maybe 5, because we're going to be getting more in the town, and I don't plan on setting up a camp and with our people and gathering more wood. I certainly could, and if I need to, I will. Let's go ahead and select our expedition and go over and talk to Theodore.
Theodore welcomes you. Well, hello there. I see you're finding your feet and making first steps into the world. Well done.
So, what now? It says there's 5 options unavailable. I have no idea what you have to do to get to those options. It boggles my mind. Maybe this is for if you waited until the end of the game to talk to this guy or something. I don't know.
Events, such as meeting me, will occur throughout your adventures. Sometimes they are random, sometimes predestined, and always varied. Events can occur when you're out exploring, but also globally, or within your village. So remember, leaving your settlement unattended may be dangerous.
And that definitely is true. I've definitely had a lot of encounters in the town. It seems to happen pretty regularly every night. At least you get one event that somebody visits your town, some creature does, and you have to make a decision as to whether you're going to chase them away or help them or what. So you definitely want at least a few fighters around in your town just in case.
Many events will ask you to bring stuff or do things in order to move to the next stage. I asked you before to gather food and fuel in your village. So you can gather resources in your village, but also by setting up a camp when you're out exploring. To set up camp, stand on an empty hex and choose the tent icon from the mini HUD. To set up camp, stand on an empty hex and choose the tent icon from the mini HUD.
Yeah, he reads that twice. I don't know why. But you definitely are going to have to set up camp and gather resources, because right now all we have is wood and food available in the town. Later on, we're going to need a lot more resources than that. You saw that huge array of resources that are in the game that we're going to need to acquire. So we're probably going to have multiple expeditions, where we might have ones that's primarily aimed at fighting, and then we might have some that are aimed primarily at going out and gathering resources.
Good. Now events can lead to conversations or just random disasters, but they can also lead to challenges. To show you what I mean, track down a pack of boars nearby, marked by a blue question mark, and bring me back their bones.
Okay, have to start questioning why he wants the bones, but okay, we'll entertain him for now. let's go over there and we'll show you off the challenges. Specifically, probably a combat one. Okay, we've reached the limit of how far we can move this turn. Let's just go ahead and end our turn. Okay, we get a few notifications that we have unspent points, and we also have spotted an enemy, which is these boars over here. Let's go ahead and
You find the
encounter
boars
them.
Theodore told you about. There is only a couple, so it should not be too hard. However, instead of a straight fight, you can try to do a proper hunt. If you have the right skills, that is. Or better yet, you can go all native on these beasties and wrestle them to the ground. Not an easy option, that one.
So, the way this works is we're still going to be engaging in the same card combat system, regardless of whether we choose to fight them or choose to wrestle them. But in a straight-up fight, you're going to be taking wounds directly. Not just because if you fail the challenge, but even during the engagement, if any of your characters start taking damage, those will show up as wounds that will need to be healed. When you do a secondary type of challenge, that's not the case, usually. If you're trying to cure a disease or something like that, or you're trying to persuade someone to do something, even if your characters take damage, it's not really wounds. You know, they might get knocked out of the discussions or something like that. So a fight is risky, but at the same time, if you have a lot of warriors, that might be what you're best at. And in fact, I think that's what we're going to do, because I think you also get more loot if you go ahead and do the fight. So here we can see that we are doing a direct combat. So offense and defense skills are being used, and then these are the tactical abilities that will be available to us in this challenge. Different challenges, again, will have different skills that are relevant, such as maybe the healing skill or the speech skill, that sort of thing. And so you can see that this same system is going to completely change if you're doing a different type of challenge. You're going to be doing the same things, but it'll play out totally different. Let's go ahead and do a combat here, and I can explain a little bit more about how this combat works. So when you go into combat, I'll call it round, you go through a card playing round, and then you activate the characters that have been played twice. Those are called the fight phases. And then that's the end of the round. Everybody gets their cards back, and you do it again until, well, somebody wins. Your cards are randomly distributed between the offensive hand and the tactical hand. Offensive hand are cards that can be directly brought out into the engagement, the challenge, the conflict. Cards in your tactical hand, you're going to have access to their abilities, which are usually pretty strong. But you have the option of bringing them out through this get closer option, but it means that they are going to be, it's called confused. They'll be disabled during the first fight phase, and they'll only attack during the second. We have the option of taking a reshuffle here. Do we want to do that? Okay, I've got one character here who gets decent shielding. She has 11 shielding. That's going to be added to her health, and she can take that many points of damage before she's going to start taking wounds. My other character does a ton of damage, not a lot of health though, and no shielding. Not good. Next up is this guy. He's our really weak guy. He has some decent shielding, but very low attack, very low hit points. These two guys have a ton of healing, or ton of health, no shielding though. And this guy's a weird mix. I do have access to my my shield ally and a first action ability. Do I want the reshuffle? Well, I don't know my characters well enough to know exactly what their abilities are. But I think we can probably do this okay. Let's just try it. Okay, so they played a wild boar. And on your turn, you can guaranteed play one card, plus 10% chance of playing an additional card for each card in your hand. So we have 6 right now, so we have a 60% chance of playing a second card, which we actually got. We can play 2 cards here. So the top number is health. Obviously, as I was describing, he got some defense on top, so he's at 25, and he's not actually taking any damage unless he drops below 17. He does 18 damage to us, which is enough to actually kill a good number of our characters. Plus, this is blunt damage, which means if he does actually kill somebody, that damage will then fall through to the next character in the line. They also have a character up here, and their tactics deck. Don't know what they're going to do with that. They haven't had a chance to play it yet. They'll probably bring it out as confused, but I need to be aware of that. So, what should I do? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to position my character so that they go first. Normally, if I was to play a character, they would appear to the right of this wild boar, and actions resolve left to right during the fight phase. So you want your characters as far to the left as you can get them, because then they're acting first. A character will attack either character on a random character on either side of it. So if I play this character right now, she will appear to the right of this wild boar. The wild boar will get a chance to go first. However, I have the first action ability over here. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm actually going to play these two guys first. They're going to be confused, but that's okay. They're going to come out, and because they have piercing damage, they'll come out ahead of this wild boar and do 50% damage to it. But that won't work. One reason why I was trying to do that was because then I was going to use the first action to put this character... Oh, that might still work. Because that would do enough damage to actually kill the guy. Because that would be 7 plus 7 plus 10 is 24. Oh, he has 25. It's not enough damage to kill him before he would be able to go. Rats. Well, you know what? Let's use one of these guys to confuse the boar. Nope, we can't. He's too high level. Okay, you can see this is actually pretty detailed. This is actually an involved combat system. I'm thinking what I'll probably do is... I don't think I can knock that guy out before he'll have a chance to go. Which is very unfortunate. Oh, yes, I will. She does 24... Oh, that's not enough. Ah. Okay, yeah, we can do this. Let's bring out one of these guys. He'll do his piercing damage. He'll do 7 damage as soon as he comes out, and put him before the wild boar. Then we'll bring her out and use first action to bring her forward. So let's go ahead and do that. This guy's a little bit weaker on the confuse ability, so let's go ahead and bring him out. He does his 7 damage. Comes out before the wild boar. Now, let's go ahead and play her, even though we're going to move her. Let's do it. Might be a bad choice, but let's go ahead and do it. Alright, let's end our turn and let him be able to go. He is countering my tactics card. Okay, fortunately he did not get the first action. That would have been very, very bad. He used the counter tactics ability. It wasn't obvious there what that was, but I just know just from seeing it. And so I actually lost that card. I've had that ability before. It's sometimes useful, sometimes not. Depends on the level of the skill. Let's use first action to move... voila, Viola ahead of the boar. So now she will do 24 before this boar has a chance to act. Now, so that wild boar is going to die. However, any damage that we do from this point on will actually be done to the wild boar in the discard pile. So it's still worthwhile to bring these characters out. I don't think it's going to kill the wild boar in there, but that's okay. Actually, we'll go through again, and that probably will the second time around. So let's go ahead and do the fight phase. Our character's going to go in order. She goes ahead and kills him. This guy is skipped because he was confused, and now we progress through the combat. We move to the second fight phase where confused characters can now act, and we'll go through again and clean them up. So by playing smart, we managed to avoid any damage to our characters.
The boars, and you are able to salvage much usable stuff from them. The downside to choosing combat is that your people may get wounds. And with heavy wounds, they will risk death every turn until they heal once more.
And those accumulate over time. So, by playing smart, we were able to avoid taking any wounds. And you can see it's actually pretty deep. And the characters that are in your party will very heavily change what you can do in a combat and how you approach combat. Depending on your party composition, you may try to avoid combat entirely and choose secondary challenge options. And try to, use speechcraft or something like that to get your way through a challenge. So we got some loot here, some items. We're going to go ahead and take those, and then we're going to take the bones back to Theodore because, well, that's what he wants us to do. He wants bones for some reason. Hey, Theo!
Theodore welcomes you. Well, wonderful. Well done. And keep your resources. They may come in handy on a rainy day, you know. As you saw, you got both experience points and research points, on top of any material rewards. All of these will help you grow stronger.
We also got some more food. For some reason, for showing him the bones, he gives us some food. I don't know why. But we'll take it. because we're kind of
So, you've
starved.
discovered that some events will let you solve a situation through more than combat. These non-combat challenges are often just as hard, but it means that fighting is not the only way. Remember, wounds from combat challenges can kill your people even after the fight. So choosing a different path is often safer, and having a medic in your party will help decrease the chances of dying as well. Anyway, great job on the boars.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip his next text.
Practice makes perfect, you know. So now that the boars are done for, let's practice one more challenge type. Social encounters. I spotted a fellow demon called Hurlik, and I want you to convince him to give you some gold. When you have it, bring it back here.
I'm now pretty convinced this guy is just using us to get what he wants. Now he wants to go get us to extort some gold from another demon. Okay, we'll do it. They're up there. Now we could go clean out the spider's nest. Might be worthwhile to do. Let's see how much food we now have. We now have a decent amount of food. I might switch these people to get the wood now. And the reason why is then I can get to building a farm sooner. Let's go ahead and move these people over here. And now we'll be getting the wood each turn. Well, it seems a little bit of a waste since we would anyway for a while. Alright. Let's go talk to this demon fellow that he wants us to. It's gonna take us a few turns to get there.
Thea is not an easy place to grow up in, but alas, grow up we must. One of your children has matured into a young adult and is ready to join your village and rebuild Thea.
So, we have the choice of turning him into a warrior, a gatherer, a crafter, or a medic. Medic appears to be an option that we don't normally have. That's promising, but I really do feel like I need another warrior, at least right now. Maybe once we've unlocked some more stuff to gather and more stuff to craft, those will be very useful, but for now, I think, let's have this kid grow up to be a warrior.
Becoming an adult is an important rite of passage. The whole village celebrates this joyous occasion. The youngster places a food offering at the altars of their gods, in thanks and in hopes for a good future.
So we got Dobrovoya. Alright, let's see what she can do. Dobrovoya is, yes, a fighter. She's got some divination skill. Interesting. I wonder what challenges those are used for. Divination is intellect and hex challenge. Double damage to already... Okay, so this is kind of like a poison type skill in the game. Let's give her this hammer. Sure. Oh, that gives her the blunt damage. Okay, cool. Nifty, nifty, nifty. Alright. We'll leave her here for now, and bring her out when, probably we start moving against some of these other enemies on the world. Have some villagers idle. Yep, Dobrovoya is not doing anything. Let's go ahead and put her over here on the vegetables for now. And let's go up and encounter these guys. Next turn.
You find the hermit Theodore spoke of. He sits on a rock and stares at you with his large yellow eyes. What do you want? You looking for trouble? Because I could get you some. He clenches his tiny fists at you.
Have I mentioned the music in this game is awesome? I love this music. Alright, well, let's go ahead and do a social challenge. This is a little bit difficult, but again, in a social challenge, you don't actually take wounds. Unless you fail, and when you fail, something bad is going to happen to you. But, you got 3 holics to go up against 2 crazed bees, and will is being used as defense, and offense is speech. Okay. Let's give it a shot. Well, we've got one guy with a lot of health. And some decent attack. We've only got 2 people with health and attack, though. Everybody else is really kind of useless. They're probably going to be support ally is going to be useful. We're going to have to play this really clever. Guess we'll roll with this. We may not succeed at this. This is pretty bad. Let's go ahead and get our guy out first. Reason being, he does a fair amount of damage, and he also has a decent amount of health. So I want him out first so that he can do his damage and hopefully stay alive for the future rounds. It's the only card I can play this round, so I'll go ahead and end my turn. Okay, he has 13 health, 4 attack. Well, I could do support ally. I could use both of these and get him up to being able to knock this guy out. That may be what I do. Huh. Interesting that he's actually going to do more supporting an ally than coming out himself. It's very interesting. This could go very badly, by the way. Another one. Does 4 damage. I could try counter tactic. I don't know whether their third holic is in their tactics deck or whether that's 2 crazed bees. I don't know, and I don't know of a way to find out. Neither of these characters will stay alive to this guy, so there's really no point in bringing them out. I could use him, but it seems like such a waste. Let's try counter tactic. Nah, we got a bee. I'm actually gonna pass. Ooh. This guy's going to be pretty heavily hurt, but remember, it's not real wounds. So I'm going to go ahead and bring these guys out, in the actual hopes that this guy then wastes an attack on these instead of attacking Sirjay. Because there's a chance he will. He might, if this guy will die, he'll be within range, but he might attack this guy, and I'm hoping he does. He doesn't do that much. No point in not bringing out this lady, she'll at least be able to take out the bee. I'm hoping this guy falls out of the combat, but let's try it. He talks the guy to death. No! He attacks Sirjay. Alright, well, we get some damage on him then. And we got him close enough that in the second fight round we would take him out. Oh, fantastic. Whew! Alright, we're still gonna have to deal with that guy. Okie dokie. Do I want to stick with this? Yeah, I think so. I really do think we've won this battle at this point. No matter what he does here. He'll bring him out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the sacrificial character. This guy does a little bit less damage. To shield my other characters. In fact, we can now bring out everybody because he's used all his cards, so let's go ahead and just bring out everybody. And bring this guy in all the way in the back, and then buff up his damage a bunch. Just in case. I don't suspect that will be needed, but he's going to take this guy out. He has no choice. And now our guys will proceed to wail on him. Bam. And we win.
All right. Theodore is clearly up to his old tricks. Sending you here for his gold. Here you go, and tell him to come himself next time.
Okay, as you can see, our sacrificial guy does not actually take any wounds, and he doesn't die. We still have him. We still succeed the challenge. That's all that really matters when you're doing a non-combat challenge. And we even got a gold, and we got a bonus to our speech for a set number of turns. I'm guessing 15? I don't know. I really don't know how many turns this lasts, but we'll take it, and we'll leave. And now we can take Theo his gold back. Although I'm tempted to keep it, but we'll take it back. Again, we don't know whether this guy's really good or not.
Travelers passes by your village. You exchange basic supplies and talk. Because of your kindness, they tell you of a herbalist living in a solitary hut out in the wilderness. They say she can cure any poison and even heal wounds, for a price, of course. They give you a map to the herbalist's hut and depart on their journey.
I've gotten this event every game. I think it's fixed. It seems to vary what turn you get it on, but seems to be guaranteed to come up early. And this seems to be a way for them to protect you from getting just a disastrous start, where right at the beginning of the game, everybody gets poisoned and, well, there's nothing you can do, they die. You don't have the skills necessary to heal the poison, or cure the poison, or something like that, so this is there so that you can recover from that. And it has this herbalist hut, which if you visit for some resources, she will heal wounds and poisons. I believe she also gives some quests, so we'll probably go ahead and visit there soon. But let's go ahead and visit Theodore first, although we need to be aware we have some undead zombie guys down here.
Theodore welcomes you.
You got your gold, although I wanted to keep it.
You got the gold. That wretched woman owes me, but I have no desire to speak to her. Anyway, it's a matter of principles rather than the gold itself, so just keep it. You may need it to craft better stuff, you know. In social challenges, as you saw, you will face your opponent, but different skill sets become relevant, such as speech, attractiveness, and will. So just remember, different challenges use different skills, and so your party composition can have a great impact on the way you explore the world. As you perhaps noticed, you got research points as well as XP. You need research points to discover new materials and recipes for crafting, and new buildings for your village.
Alright, well, he just said more concisely what I've been saying all along, but...
Now, you will notice that some equipment, as well as buildings in your village, require a lot of stuff, often things that are not easily gathered or commonly found. For such needs, I also recommend scouring the world map in search of old ruins, abandoned tunnels, ancient towers. You get the gist, right? It so happens that I know of an old dungeon that you can explore and loot. I have marked this place on your map.
In fact, this is probably the best way to get resources early on in the game. Stuff you get from encounters and from exploring events on the map is generally better than anything you can find in the very early game to go gather. And we're definitely going to be doing that.
Yes, I have a second task for you to do at any time you're ready. Craft me 10 cooked, baked, or roasted food. Any type. You may want to research some varieties as well to match your supplies. Also, leave these 10 crafted foods in the village until I show up. You don't have to rush with this one. Take your time and get to grips with managing your settlement.
Alright, he's going to leave us alone for a little while, which is very nice. He tells us about this dungeon down here that we could go explore. Honestly speaking, the last time I was playing and I saw that, it was a very difficult dungeon, and we'll probably wait to do that. We have an unliving corpse and 2 broken skeletons. That should be no problem for us. We should be perfectly fine here to, at this point in the game, take that on. There are some enemies that you encounter that definitely are trouble, though. That doesn't sound like it's too bad. Let's go ahead and fight that. Now, we could try to use tactics, or we could go ahead and fight them. Again, I'm going to choose fight because we have reasonably good fighting skill, and I do believe that gives us more resources. And for now, we're kind of resource-starved, so let's take the risk right now while the enemies are fairly weak, and then we might choose those secondary options once we start encountering some more difficult enemies. Alright, we've got 2 piercing damage guys and our person with a lot of armor. This is, and 2 people with shield allies. Oh, this is very nice. Let's keep this. We get to go first, so definitely let's bring out the person with the armor, because when we play these guys with piercing, they will appear to the left of the first enemy, that is, or the lowest enemy initiative, but they will appear at the left of all of your characters. And we also have first action if we needed to move them, but let's go ahead and bring her out first, and we'll see what they ever do. An unliving corpse. Relatively low damage, but a lot of health. Let's go ahead and knock him down to size a little bit. Brings him back down to 20. He's still not within... Now he is now within death range. These 2 characters combined will actually kill this unliving corpse. So at this point, I think I want to save my cards. If I bring him out, he will appear to the left of any creature that comes out, but I want him to do his damage to that creature. So let's pass. Ah, they confused him. That's not a problem for us, because we'll just bring out somebody else. And then I'll probably use the get closer and first action combination. Probably. It looks like I misspoke. These guys are not appearing to the left of Nimela here. That's a bit of a shame. She has the hit points. We may use these shield allies on them, depending on what the enemy brings up. Should be another skeleton at this point. And indeed it is. He's going to do 7 damage, so why don't I just... let's go ahead and shield for 6. It's going to block all but 1 of his damage. Then bring her out, and use first action to move her all the way forward. And this, I think, will actually... I didn't need to do the shield at all, because she's going to completely annihilate this unliving corpse, and then these 2 characters combined will do more than enough damage to take out the broken skeleton. So I think we just won. Smashy. That did not quite happen like I expected it to. But it's okay. He only took 1 damage. He may take a wound from that. No, he didn't. Okay. And we got a shield. That's it. I could hope for more. Here's a loot box down here we can go and explore. Let's do that. Next turn.
An old dwarf passes by your village, stopping only for a drink and a chat if you're willing.
Okay, so here's our first kind of random encounter event that is really kind of one of the most enjoyable parts of this game. So we have to figure out what we should do. Should we rob him? Should we share a drink with him, then kill him and take his stuff? Or just have a drink with him? And I don't know. I really feel that in the game, there's a random chance that this guy's good and a random chance that this guy is bad. I don't know what percentage of the time he's good, though. I don't know what percentage of the time he's bad. And he could do some pretty nasty stuff to you, probably, especially since this picture is wielding a dagger. But, let's go ahead and have a drink. I mean, this is tempting. Let's have a drink.
You share a drink and some stories. As thanks, the dwarf tells you of an old mine he knows. He marks the location on your map.
Okay, I don't know what the blue text here means. I assume it's like in other story games where that's some ability that we have. Maybe it's somebody that we have in the town has enough speech skill or something like that, that option becomes available to us. But I don't know. Maybe it's the time of day. No idea.
He marks a route for a mithril mine.
Mithril mine. Okay. Very cool. I am certain I have no idea how to get mithril. Steel, silver, gold. I'm pretty sure this is mithril up here, and we have no idea how to get that. That's okay. Cool. Alright, and it's starting to get toward dusk. You'll notice that we can't see quite as far, and things are starting to get dim. But some things happened. We leveled up. So here are the people in the town that gained these abilities. Very, very cool. Good selection there. And our main expedition also leveled up. Got a few more skills. Good to see her getting a little bit more health. Okay. Let's go ahead and run down here. We have enough time left. I think we can get this before it turns night. Let's go exploring.
You stumble across some ruins of an old city, engulfed in mist and mystery. You open one of the buildings, a strange-looking stone and metal-built affair. And you hear a clunking noise, then a blunt thud. Before you are able to do anything, you see a skeleton charging your way.
Alright, well, we gotta fight. 1 skeleton, 4 hulking rats. Shouldn't be a problem. Let's see who we got. We do have Bartosz here. I wish I didn't. I wish I had one of these 2 primary fighter guys. But that's okay. We can bring them in closer and at least get the piercing damage effect off to clear out some targets. So let's go ahead and, I guess, keep what we got. Our turn to go first. Perfect. Let's bring out our heavy hitter. She does 25 damage. That is huge. Most I've ever seen in a character that we actually have at this point in the game. Not enough to take him out, but he is confused. Okay, that means all the other cards are hulking rats. Okay, so what can we do to... Yeah. I'd like to go ahead and take him out if I can. The reason being is, if I can, then this 25 damage won't be wasted just doing 1 point of damage on the second pass through. But unless they move him or something, he is going to die. before he gets the chance to do his 19 damage. That said, let's bring out Numella here. And then pass, actually. Okie dokie. Let's spear one of these guys. That'll take him out. I can't quite spear and get the 8 damage needed. So let us instead... Let's go ahead and stop here. They're keeping one card in the reserve. I don't like that. I'm going to then bring out this guy, and what I'm going to do is next turn I'm going to use first action to bring him to the front. That'll finish off the skeleton in 1 round, using his pathetic amount of damage. It will also keep him protected. Can't do that this turn, though. Okay, this is a guy we can kill with the get closer on this guy. Let's go ahead and bring this guy to the front. And then let's get closer with this guy, which will kill this hulking rat. I think we're good. I think what will happen is these 2 characters will kill this skeleton, forcing this character to attack this hulking rat, killing it. These 3 characters will be missed. Ooh, that was interesting. Alright, there's a little bit of a bug there. And then with the second round through, we'll just completely obliterate that hulking rat. Let's see if it goes the way I think. 3 damage. Poke. I feel like Bartosz is a hobbit from Lord of the Rings. Probably just fell down and tripped the guy. I can't even kill a rat. And there we go. No damage taken.
Search the buildings and discover a supplies store still intact.
Very, very cool. We got a big hammer. We got some shadow armor. Very nice. And a whole lot of goods. Very, very nice. Alright, so I hope that gives a little bit of a taste of the game. We'll be coming back in the coming episodes and delving deeper into this game. Again, I've been enjoying this game, and I don't think it's gotten the attention that it deserves. So I wanted to show it off on the channel, and I also wanted to do a playthrough of it. I've been enjoying it, and I think you guys might as well, seeing what happens to us here, and seeing if we survive. But until next time, thanks for watching.